It's never going to end. What this orange piece of human waste did in 4 short years, this is one of the hallmarks of the weakness of democracy. It was always dependent. Democratic self-rule has always been dependent on having fairly honest people take the controls of government. People who have a sense of ethics or will follow the Constitution or follow the law. When you have a filthy, rotten grifter, a useless waste of human DNA like Donald Jesus Trump take over the government of the United States, would anyone expect anything other than this to happen? The only expectation I would have had, it would have been much worse than this, but there's still miles to go and more shit to investigate about this filthy bastard who says he's going to reinstate the presidency in August. Oh my God. So here's a little background. According to New York Times, soon after Trump took office in 2017, press reports based on sensitive or classified intelligence threw the White House into chaos. Now, what does that mean? It means the connection between the Trump crime family and Putin's Russian military intelligence. And the reason they're working together is because Russia is a white Christian country that the white Christians in this country just want to be part of. That's the alliance. It has to do with race and fascism and the sick fucking fascist Christianity. But I digress. Press reports detailed conversations between the Russian ambassador to the United States at the time and the Orange Vomit's top aides. And press reports also revealed the Orange Vomit pressuring the FBI and on this and other matters related to the Russia investigation. All of a sudden, you remember this, all of a sudden this shit became public knowledge. And the Orange Vomit demanded that the sources of these leaks be found and prosecuted. You remember this, don't you? And the Justice Department started a broad look at national security officials from the Obama administration who were still in the Justice Department. Now, most officials in the Justice Department were ruled out, but investigators opened cases that focused on Jim Comey and his deputy, remember this guy, Andrew McCabe, and prosecutors working for this corrupt now Justice Department. And remember, you do know why the Justice Department even came into being. It was to protect people after enslavement of other human beings ended in this country because of what was happening to black folk in the South. That's how the Justice Department began. And then to have a racist little pig, like a whole line of them, especially Jeff Sessions, who is in charge of the Justice Department, is an affront to anything that even remotely resembles justice. But I digress. So prosecutors working for this racist pig Sessions began to scrutinize the House Intelligence Committee, including Adam Schiff, as possible sources of these leaks. And the reason for that, this chief intelligence oversight body, the House Intelligence Committee, has regular access to sensitive government secrets, as it should be. So Jeff Sessions' corrupt Justice Department National Security Division officials briefed the Deputy Attorney General's office nearly every other week on the investigations. And in 2017 and 2018, a grand jury subpoenaed Apple and other internet service and another internet service provider for the records of the people associated with the Intelligence Committee. And in doing that, these corrupt investigators working for the Orange Vomit learned about most. No, wait a second. The members of, I'm sorry, the people associated with the Intelligence Committee just learned about most of the subpoenas last month. They didn't know any of this shit had gone on. And they only learned about it when Apple informed them that the records had been shared, but they didn't detail the extent of the request. Apple didn't. A second service provider had notified one member of the committee's staff about such a request last year, but nobody said anything. Now, it's not clear, as you've heard over and over, I certainly have, why family members or children were involved. But the investigators could have sought those accounts because they were linked, or on the theory that the parents, the dirty, rotten, filthy parents, were using their children's phones or computers to hide contacts with journalists. Oh, those traitorous bastards going against the Christian fascist Nazi Donald Trump. Oh my God, expose them. Take them to room 101. Now, according to the Times, there do not appear to have been similar grand jury subpoenas for records of members or staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. A spokesman for Republicans on the Intelligence Committee refused to answer a question about whether they were issued subpoenas. Oh, what do you want to bet? Absolutely fucking no. And the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department now, has declined to tell Democrats on the committee whether any Republicans were investigated. Apple turned over only metadata and account information, not, according to what we're being told, not photos, emails, or other content. That's according to a person familiar with all this. Now, after all these records provided no proof of leaks, prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington discussed ending that piece of their investigation. There was nothing more to investigate. But the traitorous dog William Barr's decision to bring in an outside prosecutor helped keep the case alive. Well, if the professionals weren't going to find anything, bring in the pillow man. Bring in somebody like that. They'll find something. Now, CNN had a report in August 2019 about another leak investigation. And that report said prosecutors did not recommend to their superiors that they charge Jim Comey over memos that he wrote and shared about his interactions with Trump, which were ultimately found to contain classified information about a conversation or something. But the criminal William Barr was worried about how the vicious son of a bitch, the Orange Vomit, would react, according to a person familiar with the situation. And what really happened, if you remember, Trump berated William Barr, who defended the Justice Department, telling the president there was no case against Jim Comey to be made. But the investigation remained open into whether Comey had leaked other classified information about Russia. Now, we have a break coming here, but I know you've probably heard this story a lot over the past 24 hours. God knows I have. But do you understand? I know you do. This is purely rhetorical, what I'm saying here. But do you understand that how corrupt and filthy and criminal and fascistic this son of a bitch Donald Trump is? And, of course, not knowing this stuff, 70 million people voted to put him back in fucking office again. Unbelievable. But here we are. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.